Altos is brought to you with the kind compliments of Rituals, Coffee House and Belgrose Funeral Home.
Good evening and welcome to Altos, a weekly news and current affairs program produced by the Catholic News and broadcast on Trinity TV and TTT. I'm your host, Neil Parsonlal. Here's a look at this week's top stories. A breakdown in family life and lack of father figures identified as key factors in the country's growing crime problem. Catholic News Steps for Hope continues to grow. Over 1,000 hit the streets for the third annual event. A bittersweet farewell to a well-loved priest at age 94 as Father Anthony Dvertile conducts his last Mass at Living Water Community. And later we look to the future of the priesthood as Reverend David Vilafana is to be ordained in less than a week. He joins us on set. And now for our top story. An independent investigation is to be conducted into allegations against the principal of Holy Name Convent, Port of Spain. Laura Pickford-Gordon has the details of this developing story.
In a statement issued on Tuesday, the school's Board of Management acknowledged the concerns, emotions, and experiences being shared publicly following the recent appointment of Sister Renee Hall as principal. A Trinidad Guardian article published on May 9 prompted critical responses online and allegations of maltreatment. Up to Thursday morning, an online petition calling for Hall's removal had attracted more than 1,200 signatures. The board said the investigation into past and present allegations would be carried out independently of both the board and leadership of the Dominican Sisters, in accordance with procedures of the Ministry of Education and the Teaching Service Commission. It recognized the deep connection many past and present students, parents, staff have with the school, and empathized that the discussions taking place are deeply personal for many. According to the board, the well-being, dignity, and development of students remains central to the mission and values of Holy Name Convent and the Dominican Sisters of St. Catherine of Siena. It added that the matter would be addressed with transparency, accountability, and due process, and said relevant stakeholders would continue to be engaged in the coming weeks as part of the open process. The board said Holy Name Convent has been built on faith and has always stood for excellence, compassion, service, and above all, veritas, truth. We will seek and encourage truth in all of these matters and therefore request current students to file any complaints through the existing processes. We encourage others to go through the processes yet to be outlined in the upcoming independent investigation. It is in that spirit that we continue to move forward together as a community. We ask for continued patience, understanding, and prayer for all involved, the board stated. I am Laura Pickford-Gordon, reporting for Catholic News, Altos.
A breakdown in family life has been identified as a contributing factor to crime and violence. Recent violence in Belmont has left many residents shaken, leaving a sense of fear and loss. But one church leader told Altos that the response must also include hope, support, and mentorship for young people. Altos reporter Andre Burton spoke with the parish priest and members of the St. Francis of Assisi parish community following their Wednesday evening Mass.
What is the violence a cry of? What is the gang lifestyle a cry of? What are the things going on in our community that are really twisted cries for the one true living God?
For many residents, the sound of gunfire has become an unsettling part of life.
I do hear the gunshots. I do hear them. Sometimes it's never one or two, but they come voluminous, they come on frequently and very loud. So it is scary.
The effects of crime are also being felt inside homes and families.
We have a total breakdown of the family structure, and we need to find a way to fix it. But the reality of it is that the problem is not a us and them thing, but it is all of us.
Parish priest Father Michael Trail agrees that many communities are also experiencing a deeper crisis affecting men and family life.
We do have a crisis there of masculinity and stuff where we do need more fathering, mentoring, and the reality that it's a lot of men being killed. And so that means families are without sons, without fathers, without brothers.
He says the community is trying to continue daily life while remaining cautious.
People are trying to be home earlier, like the schoolers are trying to make sure kids get home quickly and safely. And so there is a heightened awareness that, we just have to be vigilant.
Father Mikel says the church must continue supporting those affected by violence while protecting young people from negative influences.
A safeguard for our young people, to give alternatives so that our young people are not recruited into the gang stuff and what is going on.
Despite the challenges, parishioners say they continue to hold on to their faith.
It doesn't matter how dark it gets, the light will continue to shine.
Father Mikel says the Catholic and Anglican churches are now planning a community outreach response in Belmont in the coming weeks. I am Andre Burton reporting for Catholic News, Altos.
The third annual Catholic News Steps for Hope 1K and 5K races drew over 1,000 participants to the St. Mary's grounds in St. Clair on Saturday, May 9th, a powerful testament to the growing desire for community wellness and joyful witness. Our team of Clysha Best, Lara Pickford Gordon and Kaelan Jordan were on hand for the day's events, so we have a team reporting to you on this event.
The air was filled with excitement as scores of children took to the starting line as the third annual Steps for Hope kicked off with the 1K for children ages 3 to 12. A total of 71 children registered, and the winning medal went to 11-year-old Micah Hector, a student of Scarborough RC Tobago. Micah completed the race in 3 minutes 21.3 seconds.
In the starting line, I was the biggest one there, so I know I had to win it.
Thank you very much, parents, grandparents.
I've been preparing for 3K, but 3K have been cancelled, so now I'm training for the 1K.
6-year-old Daniel De Freitas won the 6 and under category with a time of 4 minutes 9.6 seconds. A member of the Rainbow Warriors Triathlon Club, the young athlete placed third last year, and his mother Sarah Ghani told us what he did differently to triumph this year.
He did add on an extra day of running besides his triathlon training, and during the week we try to talk about eating healthy, drinking water, getting enough sleep, eating fruit. So instead of just talking about training and running, we try to make it a whole holistic approach where we check off all those boxes of all the important things we're trying to teach him.
The overall winner in the girls category was 10-year-old Brooke De Freitas, Daniel's cousin. Finishing second was Amaya Torres of Arima Girls Government Primary. Amaya told us why she participated in the Steps for Hope 1K.
I like the sport, I like the running, and it makes me feel good.
From a humble 500 runners in its first year, 2024, to 850 in 2025, the 2026 edition marked a significant milestone. But for Catherine Tardier, General Manager of Catholic Media Services Limited, the most exciting number wasn't the total turnout. It was the surge in parishioner participation.
Out of the 1,200, we had over 700 parishioners, because the first 2 years, that's what our drive was. This was merely meant to be our community coming together. And so we did a little parish hop with the trophy, and I don't know, it must have worked, but we got like 700, I think, or 800 parishioners signing up, which is really exciting.
I now pass the baton to my colleague, Lara Pickford Gordon, for the 5K leg of the race. Lara?
Thanks, Clysha. The Catholic News' third annual Steps for Hope 5K Run Walk continues to grow. As the horn went off 4 p.m. signaling the race start, close to 1,000 took off on a course which took them from St. Mary's Ground Serpentine Road around the Queen's Park Savannah and back to the finish line. 64 runners crossed as the clock hit the 30-minute 9-second mark. First-time Steps for Hope runner, 26-year-old Stefan Gould, was first overall in a time of 16 minutes 37 seconds, shaving 2 seconds off last year's winning time. 10 seconds separated second place Jacob O'Reilly with a time of 19:29 and third Luke Williams at 19:39. Gould spoke to the Catholic News Altos via telephone about his win.
Well, for me it was good, because I challenge myself, you know, and one of my biggest thing is not the competition against whosoever, but my enemy on any race is time. So by me working at this 30-something minutes was good for me.
It was a sunny and sweltering day with the heat index at 35 degrees Celsius plus mild Sahara dust. But Gould, who only resumed running in February after a 3-year break, was only focused on the finish line.
It was a hot day. Well, I just put in my mind just to go out there, run the best I could run, and to come as low as time could be for me. So it was heated, but in my head I was just keeping focus on completing the race.
11-year-old Genesis Marchand, the 22nd finisher, was first overall among the 654 females. Marchand has been running for the past 2 years and felt a great honor representing her school, St. Gabriel's Girls RC, and the Girl Guide Division.
I've realized over the past day I've gotten way better. So I said the practice has really paid off for me to be able to reach the point that I am today.
Running, walking, or strolling leisurely, it was an enjoyable experience for many. There was more to the day than race competition, as my colleague Kaylan Jordan tells us in this story's final leg.
Thank you, Lara. From the starting horn, it was go around the Savannah circuits, and if your legs got tired, the vibes definitely carried you. Cheerleaders from Holy Name Convent, Port of Spain, brought the energy, while rhythm sections from Presentation College, San Fernando, and Fatima College along Archbishop's House kept the beat strong along the routes. Even priests got in on the action. Father Michael Trestrel and Father Matthew Martinez returned for another year, while the Carmelite sisters also took on the 5K. And when the runners hit the race village, they were greeted with Destra Garcia and Farmer Nappy turning up the vibes. But one of the biggest surprises came off the track, where Our Lady of Perpetual Help RC Church San Fernando snatched the trophy for top parish with 90 participants, defeating St. Paul's Hoover, which had ruled for 2 years straight.
It's amazing knowing that we made at least 90 persons, and next year we're hoping to make 122 strong or even more.
Howell Paul told Altos it took a mix of Girl Guides, youth ministry members, and prayer groups to pull off the win. And he had one more message for San Fernando.
San Fernando, y'all are the best parish out there. Father Matthew, shout out to you for leading us. Father Hygienus and all the priests that serve. Next year, come out and support.
And then came one of the sweetest moments of the day. Family power on full display. Mother and son Chanel Charles Farrell and 6-year-old Devontae Farrell crossed the finish line together in 33 minutes and 59 seconds.
When the heat, I know it wasn't my best run either. He was laughing at me actually, running backwards and telling me, well, you know, he's pacing me.
The mother and son duo walked away with 2 tickets to Tobago and a 2-night stay at Crown Point Hotel. I am Kaylan Jordan reporting for Catholic News, Altos.
And let it be known that I was also one of the participants in that race. It's now time for us to take a short break. When we return, we speak with Reverend David Vilafana, soon to be priest in the Archdiocese of Port of Spain. Thanks very much for staying with us. We are absolutely thrilled today to have with us on set the soon-to-be ordained Reverend Deacon David Vilafana. David, welcome to the program, and thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Neil, for having me.
It's good to have you here. Yeah. Excited about what's going to happen on next Wednesday?
Oh, if I could get these butterflies down, I'll be fine. Yeah. But yes, for most part of it, I believe I am ready.
Yeah. David, tell us, how did this journey begin for you, this journey to priesthood? What were the defining moments? What led you to priesthood? Who were the mentors you possibly had along the way?
So when I started thinking about priesthood, it was actually around the age of 15. I was in youth group and Holy Cross Santa Cruz, and they would always talk about, thinking about your vocation, thinking about, does the church need you? Does the church doesn't need you? And I would always hear it in my head, and I'm like, nah, that can't be it. And then I'll hear it in my heart and be like, this really happening? Like, no, but I still have CXC to do. This makes no sense. So at that point in time, I told my then parish priest, the late Father Benedict Hilaire, that I had this dream about, two possible lives and wanting to discern what that was really. And he didn't say anything. He just looked at me and smiled, and I was like, and now I know what that smile means, you little crook. Still love him though. But the journey was really an on and off path, where it is that when I got a little older, I had to stop believing in God anymore because I was falling into the university culture, and I really wanted to know what it was like not knowing God. But not knowing God, God was still there in the midst of all the deserts and the storms that I went through. And one day it just happened that Father Rocha had pulled me from Mass one day, and he was like, why are you running? And I'm like, you could see me. And constantly having that dialogue with him, and then entering into seminary. And there's that point where you don't think that you are worthy at times in the seminary, where brothers would more or less tell you that seminary formation is this and that, and I have no idea what it is. And I guess in that respect, you understand that, God doesn't, call those who are perfect. He perfects those within who are trying to find him and to seek deep meaning. I had a lot of mentors in terms of entering into formation and seminary life. Father Bunty was one of them, of course. To this day, it's Father Macan, who, ever since I was a child, every time he see me at the cathedral, he's like, boy, you're supposed to be a priest. Father Macan, rest in peace. Yeah. Father Spence, Father Rochard, Father David Kahn, and now Father Steve Duncan, who teaches me every day, how to be human, how to be man in all obstacles and insurmountable circumstances, because you can't do anything without the Holy Spirit, and he is the man of the Spirit, if you know him. And even brothers in the seminary as well, who are now priests, like Father Peter, Kenwin, Father Kwesi, Father Stefan. Most of these people really. Okay.
But you went to university. You actually have a degree in film.
I do.
From the University of the West Indies.
That's right.
And how do you think that, as a priest, but how do you think that aspect of your life, that degree in film, how do you think that can serve this modern church of ours?
It saved me because it made me see the church through a different lens and a different perspective. And in journeying through, and like for me, Visio Divina, I'm a big fan of it. And when you're lost in that translation, where it is that God is trying to reveal you in your work, in your creativity, it speaks volumes beyond measure. And they really do say a picture paints 1,000 words. I think it paints 1,000,000 words when like that. And in this church that we have right now, media is the way forward. Media is the way how we get our messages across, because we are the people of the 3-minute TikTok videos. We are the people who would take a picture, a photograph, and just stare at it and be like, nah, let's take this again, and understand that, there are different perspectives. And it's the same thing like God. God sees one perspective in all of us, but in time, we break the pattern and we break the mold to see different perspectives of how God is really mysterious and full of faith.
And I understand that when persons arrive at the cathedral on Wednesday for your ordination, they are in fact going to be pieces of art which you have painted.
Yes.
That they can actually engage in this Visio Divina.
That's right.
Prior, yes?
That's right.
What are some of the pieces people can look at?
Well, without saying too much. So the paintings that I'm going to do is, that I am doing now, and some that I've done before, is paintings that I've done while I was in formation, while I was in, while I was discerning and going through with Father Rocha, thinking, is priesthood for me or not? And it's really a form of prayer. Like Father Jerry McGlone always told me that You know, you should use your art as a form of how you feel in the moment and how you should give to God what it is that you feel in the moment. Case in point, the portrait that I gave the Archbishop for my diaconate ordination, everything in that came true. Where it is that I painted the image of the prodigal son, but while I was painting it, the image of Divine Mercy came up, and on Divine Mercy Sundays, when I got the announcement of my priestly ordination, still trying to figure out the star. Why did I paint a star? But you know, God reveals things in mystery and time.
But I guess when people come to the cathedral on Wednesday, they're going to have to look at all of that.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Reverend David, soon to be Father David, we thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll see much more of you.
Yes.
Congratulations on the ordination and good luck in your priesthood. The Catholic Church will be praying for you.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Thanks very much for staying with us. We'll be right back.
In this Sunday's issue of the Catholic News, the editorial looks at the Pope's message for World Communications Day and this Sunday's liturgical celebration of the Ascension of the Lord. Senior writer Lara Pickford-Gordon speaks with an advocate for families living with Huntington's disease. And tributes are paid following the death of Dominican sister Monique Moniquette, a former Catholic chaplain at the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies. Here is the clergy anniversary for the coming week. And some coming events. I'm Raymond Sims, editor of the Catholic News.
Thanks very much for staying with us. After more than 60 years in the priesthood and 15 years serving the Living Water community, Father Anthony Dvertile celebrated his final Mass on Saturday, May 9, 2026. Father Anthony was born in Port of Spain on May 7, 1932. The 94-year-old priest reflected on faith, forgiveness, and the joy of growing old in what was an emotional farewell service. Roger Sant has more in the sponsored segment.
This sponsored segment of Altos is brought to you with the kind compliments of Belgrove's Funeral Home. We do more than just say we care.
Instead of focusing on the decades of service, 65 years in all, Father Dvertile spoke on the theme, the happiness of old age, saying old age brings many memories, as he shared one which had brought him joy from 83 years ago when he was 11. He and his twin were home alone, and they discussed what the young Anthony would do if a thief came into the house. As fate would have it, that very night, he saw someone rifling through his father's safe.
And I stared straight at his eyes. And having caught his eye, I then turned my head a little and shouted at the top of my voice, "Alexander, bring the gun."
He also spoke openly about suffering, prayer, and gratitude, even joking about surviving the pain of 7 kidney stones.
I calculate that 1 kidney stone should pay for 7 big sins. Now, I don't know if the Lord will agree with my mathematics. So the other ones I offered for other people's sins, as well as my own. So do the same. If you suffer pain, offer it up with Jesus.
He encouraged the congregation to treasure memories of helping others, recalling a moment when he helped an unconscious man who had been pulled from the bottom of the pool at St. Mary's College. The veteran priest also reflected on the power of prayer and trusting God even when prayers seem unanswered.
Ask God. Pray to him with confidence. Know the power of prayer.
For members of the Living Water community, Saturday's farewell was emotional.
Today is a bittersweet moment for us. I think we're kind of working out, it's been about 15 years that Father has been very, very faithful to this community. Through his masses, confessions, whenever he's available, he's always willing. And we thank you for that.
Deacon Derek Walcott, who has known Father since childhood at St. Mary's College, reflected on the priest's mentorship and balance with young students.
My biggest memory is how balanced he was with us as young boys, young sportsmen. He was our games master. How balanced he was with prayer, with having a good time and with studies. So we want to thank you. I want to thank you so much, Father.
As the congregation stretched out their hands in prayer over him, Father Dvertile offered one final message to the community.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, and may God bless you all, and pray for me.
I'm Roger Sant reporting for Catholic News Altos.
Altos was brought to you with the kind compliments of Belgrove's Funeral Home. We do more than just say we care.
Pope Leo spent a busy weekend at the Vatican focusing on faith, global conflicts, sports, and public health concerns. We have more in this report from EWTN Nightly.
The Pope has been following the developments of the hantavirus closely. This is why on Sunday, after praying the Regina Coeli with the faithful, he thanked the Spanish authorities for welcoming the cruise ship where the outbreak of the disease was recorded.
I want to thank the people of the Canary Islands for the welcome that characterizes them in allowing the arrival of the cruise ship Hondius.
However, his first message was about the outbreak of violence in the Sahel that cuts a line across Africa, between North Africa and the Sub-Sahara region. Islamist organizations have been recruiting members for years. The latest Global Terrorism Index report found that the region accounted for more than half of all terrorism-related deaths worldwide. Combating religious fundamentalism has been one of Pope Leo's main messages in recent times. From his trip to Africa in April to the day before the Angelus, when he told the delegation of representatives from Muslim communities in Senegal to reject all instrumentalization of the name of God for military, economic, and political purposes. It was an intense weekend at the Vatican for Pope Leo. He also met with the Prime Minister of Haiti, a country that is not officially at war, but is nevertheless overwhelmed by violence. The UN estimates that in the last 3 months, more than 1,600 people have been killed by gangs and security operations. The last time a pope travelled there was back in 1983. And as of today, the situation does not seem to encourage a second papal trip, although the pontiff has suggested another way he may support Haiti in this year's Soccer World Cup. The soccer-centred weekend then continued for Pope Leo. He also met with the players of the team that has mathematically secured the Italian league title, Inter Milan.
And that's a wrap for our program this week. We thank you so very much for viewing. We continue to encourage you to pray for Trinidad and Tobago, to read your Bible and learn your faith. Have a safe and blessed weekend, everyone, in a week ahead. As we go, we leave you with some of the images from the Catholic News Steps for Hope, as soca artists Fama Napi and Destra Garcia performed to an appreciative crowd. Have a good week, everyone.
Another day above ground and say, thank you, Father. I'm focusing on the positives. Because it's a young song. Put me up and strong. Yes, he's loving me hard. So baby, come back. Because I need you by my side. Please make some contact. I'm your body, you're my blood. I'm your body, baby. Who's got this girl by the head? I'm gonna see where I used to fall and not for ya. Boy, you feeling of yours in my heart. Let me be the celebration. Here we go. Jump up, where up, high up. I tell you, I am your queen.
Altos was brought to you with the kind compliments of Rituals Coffee House and Belgrove's Funeral Home. We do more than just say we care.